We're in Burnham-On-Sea.
Good morning.
Morning everyone.
So we're going to take a little wander down to Burnham-On-Sea beachfront and have a look and see what we can find. You will see when Pete turns the camera around that we do have a little flurry of snow going on. It is rather chillsome, but we need to get out, get some fresh air, and we are really missing doing a bit of scavenging on the beach. So we're going to bring you along. Let's see what we can find.
Okay.
During the current lockdown, travel to local areas for exercise purposes is allowed. We chose to take our exercise on the beachfront at Burnham-On-Sea. Fresh air helps to minimize transmission of the virus. Please exercise responsibly. Burnham-On-Sea is a seaside town located in Sedgemoor within Somerset in the UK. There's a picture of the sea wall, and I'm now panning down towards the location of the former marine lake. Under the jetty is quite rich pickings for beachcombings. Let's have a look what's there today.
Quite a lot of stuff gets washed up to the top along this bottom step, so I'm gonna have a little rummage through here, see if there's anything.
It's a bit of a slimy mess this morning.
Yeah.
Have to be real careful where we stand.
It's a bit gooey here today. And extremely cold.
Going to be collecting some pieces of glass today that otherwise are not attractive. There may be a bit of a project in the tumbler coming up. So here's the first bit of glass for the day. It's a nice looking bit of clear.
Here's a piece of glass we would normally ignore, but today we are collecting pieces for a tumbling project, so that's going to go in the bag.
You know what, I think it might be a cigarette lighter.
Do you?
Yeah, not sure.
Okay. It's
Rubbish
plastic anyway,
yeah.
so it needs to come off the beach.
The walkway to the old marine lake is exposed today. You don't get to see this every day. It all depends on the action of the tides and the height of the tides, but today it was clearly visible. The walkway from the video is visible in this historic photograph. Construction work for the marine lake started in the late 1920s. This construction occurred on the site of the original tidal jetty pool. The lake was ceremoniously opened in 1931 by the Right Honourable A.V. Alexander, First Lord of the Admiralty, and he rode across the lake. Do you see the palmist booth at the bottom right of this photo? The lake proved to be a major tourist attraction, offering safe swimming and boating. However, the lake was plagued by the problems of silting and erosion. The lake was closed during World War II. Afterwards, the lake never returned to its former glory days and eventually fell into a state of decay. Here are a couple of aerial shots of the lake. Marine Lake was demolished in the late 1980s, and from 1990 onwards, the tides occasionally reveal bits of debris that the council needs to remove. Photographs courtesy of captureburnham.co.uk. We would highly recommend a visit to this fantastic resource. Thank you, John. Hope you found that interesting. Let's carry on beachcombing.
Feels like a piece of a teacup or something like that, but we'll have that. We'll do something with it. It's a piece of glass and what may be a bit of pottery. Nope. It's just a stone.
That looks like a nice piece.
If this pebble looks pretty wet, then I think it will look pretty once it's been tumbled.
Something white down there. Maybe we found another limb. No, a wishing stone. Okay. That's an interesting piece of glass. I see that it's got some letters on it. Let's pick it up and have a look.
Spring?
Rink? Spring? I don't know.
Drink?
Drink? We'll clean it up and have a look. Could that be a bit of pipe? Or something else? Nope, unfortunately it's the modern day equivalent. A fag end.
It's an unusual piece of rock, red. We might put that in the rock tumbler and see what happens to that.
We'll take that as well, no need for that to be on the beach. Is it a Subway?
Yeah.
I don't know, we had one here.
No, I didn't. Not in
Burnham. Yep. So what's a beachcomb without getting a little bit of blue and white pottery? Oh, hello doggy. There you go, that's quite a nice little piece. A little dog that wants to get in on the action. Piece of pottery over to the right, this white square piece.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's going to have a pattern on the other side.
Let's have a look, let's flip it over and have a look. Nope, that's just plain.
Okay.
Something bright blue just caught my eye. I think it's a bit of plastic.
Oh, it's another piece of that. Yeah, whatever it is.
Right, let's have it.
Yes, please.
Some kind of stone. I don't think it is plastic.
No, I don't think it is. It's too cold.
Yeah.
You can't hear me, 'cause I'm on mute.
Bit of pipe stem?
Yep.
Excellent.
Clay pipe stem.
Okay.
Another piece of blue. I would say that is the top of a drawing pin.
If I'm correct, that's a piece of yellow Seaglass. It's more green than yellow. But still, oh, it is quite a nice piece. We'd normally leave it behind, but today we're collecting things for tumbling. Noodle alert. There's a nice yellow one. Well, I don't think nice is the right word.
Is it a nurdle or bead?
Is it a nurdle or a bead? I think it's a nurdle. A couple of pieces of glass, they'll make it into the bag.
Now that's a hefty chunk of iron in this old post.
Still quite new, needs to tumble around a few more years in the sea against the rocks. It's getting quite blowy along here now.
The gloves, yep, label on the back of the hand, palm clear. I think we've got it right this time. Nice piece.
Yeah, it's got a couple of bubbles in it.
A couple of snowflakes on it too.
It's quite chunky.
Nice.
Piece of a bottle. Don't know whether this camera's picking up the snow, but it's getting into a proper little flurry now.
Another piece that looks like it's worthwhile tumbling.
I think we're about to find our first ever button. It may not be whole, but it's a button nonetheless. And it's not plastic.
Oh, bonus.
So pretty chuffed with that.
In the bag with you.
Yes.
Nice piece of amber. Again, it's a piece we normally leave behind, but as we're going to be tumbling this, we'll have it. We think that these stones here are going to be good for a tumble. The ones that look like this greenish colour. Hello, doggy.
Hello.
Hello, you. It's okay.
That's all right. I think I've spotted a piece of clay pipe.
Yep, that looks like a piece of clay pipe to me.
There we go. our first bit of stem today. Nice one. Might have a look and see how this tumbles up. It's not green, it's not amber, it's kind of a yellowy colour.
Yeah, I think I found another piece of that shade earlier.
Oh, wow.
We'll have to have a look in the roundup, won't we? A piece of amber glass, and it looks like it has ridges on it. There it is. Do you know what? It was just the shadow.
Just a modern piece.
Modern piece of glass, but I think it's an interesting enough shape to consider for tumbling. What's that?
It's just a piece of rock, but it looks interesting, and I'd like to see what it looks like after it's been tumbled.
Great.
Looks like a little chunk of ice. Very clear, quite chunky, quite new, but again we'll put it in the tumbler and see what happens to it.
I've just found what looks like the bottom of a bottle. It's got a bit of a crack in it, but again, candidate for tumbling.
We will do a roundup of our finds later on in this video. We'll also begin our tumbling project. Hope you're looking forward to that.
Piece of marmalade jar. Ridge pottery.
The North Esplanade at Burnham-On-Sea, also showing the UK's shortest pier.
That's enough for one day. It's freezing. More Burnham Heritage Trail stuff. And here's a memorial to Burnham's Lost Railway. Back up a little bit so you can see what
Careful.
we are looking at. There we go. Bit of railway art in the parking lot of the B&M. More railway memorabilia.
If you're enjoying this video, why not consider subscribing? We'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Point your smartphone camera at the QR code. The roundup.
There's not a lot, as we didn't stay very long. The weather was not so nice as it was sleeting and it was extremely cold. So we only had about half an hour, 45 minutes on the beach before we gave in to the cold. So we found some nice bits of pottery and glass, a couple of bits of pipe stem, and we've also got some rubbish that we brought away from the beach. You will have seen a Subway carrier bag that already got binned, as there was a waste bin about 20 foot away from where I picked it up off of the beach actually, so just goes to show how lazy people are. A couple of pieces of pipe stem, and we picked up some really nice bits of rock that we think might be worth putting into our tumbler. So let's have a better look at what we've got here. No trip is worth its salt without finding a piece of ridge pottery. So this would have been from maybe a Heartless jam or marmalade jar. We've got several pieces of just plain pottery, plain white, no pattern on any of these. Nothing particularly interesting there. I did find a piece that's quite interesting. Now this is pink on one side and it has ridges in it, and then when you turn it over on the other side it's yellow. I have no idea what that's from and what would be pink one side and yellow the other. And of course a gratuitous piece of willow pattern, only very small, but it's always nice to find a bit of blue and white. We've got a couple of chunky bottle bottoms. I think they're probably quite modern, to be honest. This one might be slightly older as it's a lot thicker, as you can see. More thickness to that one. There's a couple of older pieces of glass as well. Don't know whether you can see. There's some bubbles in that piece. Only small ones. But again, it's quite a chunky piece of glass. This one's got some writing on it. I think it says drink, or part of the word drink, or drinks. Again, quite a chunky piece of glass. It's nice to see it with the writing on. Now we have got some other pieces of glass here, pretty colours. It's a kind of a amber yellowy colour, and then an even more yellowy piece here. Now none of these are really much use for anything, but we thought that we might put them in our rock tumbler and see how they fare with a session in the rock tumbler. And speaking of the rock tumbler, over here we have some more rocks that we thought might look nice tumbled and polished. So it's a bit of an experiment. So this is you seeing them before they go into the rock tumbler. I mean, that when that's wet, that really had quite a pretty pattern on it. So I'm thinking once it's polished, that may have a nice pattern on it too. These are just interesting colours with the veins running through them. Oops. Again, another one with some strange veins running through it. And I picked this one up because when it was wet, that red piece there was really red. So I'll be interested to see how that tumbles up. We also found these blue things. I don't know what else to call them. They're hard, they're not plastic. They do look like some of the blue is wearing off a bit. I don't know whether it's old painted concrete. Pete suggested it might have been from maybe the boating lake that used to be there. I'm not sure. If anyone else has ever found these blue bits of rocky looking stuff, then let us know. And two fabulous surprise finds. Always happy to find some pipe stem. Always makes me happy. Just thinking, it takes you right back to the time when someone was maybe, you know, at the beach, having a relax, watching his children playing in the sand, and just smoking away there on his pipe. We had our first ever find of a button. It's not complete, it has got a dink out of it, but it is definitely a glass button, and I'll take that even if it has got a dink, because it's a first for us. So happy with that. This here is a nurdle. I'm not going to go through what nurdles are. We've explained what nurdles are in a previous video, but it's just a piece of plastic. I collect nurdles. Don't know why. I think they look pretty in a jar. And then just some rubbish from the beach, so some wire. Doesn't belong there, so I've brought it home to throw away. And a ring, not a ring, a spring, in fact, which just sprang out of my hand. So that can go in the bin. This is the top of a drawing pin. So that's the blue plastic coating, and then the rusted metal underneath, but doesn't belong on the beach, so that's going in the bin. And we're not really sure what this is. Don't think it's a shotgun cartridge, but it could be a refillable lighter, a gas lighter maybe, with all its bits and bobs missing. Don't know if anyone else has got any thoughts on this, then let us know. But again, it's made out of plastic, so that's going in the bin as well.
If you'd like a free sticker, just contact us.
You heard me saying that we found some pieces of rock that we thought would be interesting to put in our rock tumbler. Back in November last year, we bought a rock tumbler, and with it came a selection of different rocks, all rough and ragged, not shiny, and we're really annoyed with ourselves actually for not taking a picture of what these stones looked like before, and then we should have given a photograph video of its journey through all the different stages, but we'll do that with the rocks and the glass that we're going to put in this time. But as you can see, we've got various bits of rock here, and they have come out so beautiful, it's unbelievable. I don't know whether you can see the colours and the shine. Look at that, just splitting right through the middle of it. Annoyingly, I don't know what any of these rocks are called either. This one is my favourite. It's absolutely gorgeous. The colours. Shining through that, absolutely gorgeous, and it's so they're so smooth, so tactile, it's unbelievable. This spotty one's interesting. Again, I don't know what they're called. Need to probably do a bit of research if we're going to start doing some more rock tumbling. And then this beautiful green. That one has got a crack in it. That was going to be a pendant. I tried to drill a hole in it, and it started to split, so I just left it. So smooth and such a beautiful colour. Got some lovely white pieces here as well. I haven't attacked that one. That one has naturally got cracks in it, I guess from the rock tumbling process. But they're just so beautiful, so smooth. I have no idea what rock is blue, but this lovely little nugget is a marbly bluey effect. So I have decided that I'm going to try and make some jewellery out of some of them. This is my first attempt at making jewellery, so I do have one of these beautiful green pieces. I've just drilled a hole in the top and then put a bail on it, and I'm just waiting for some sterling silver chain to arrive, and that's going to make a lovely pendant necklace. And also this one, which I think I'm going to place on a black leather thong necklace strap for this one. I think that kind of goes with the tone of the fitting that I've used and the stone itself. The next stage then is to put our glass and stone into a rock tumbler and set it off tumbling. So we'll show you how to load up the rock tumbler.
Let's do some tumbling. This is our rock tumbler, and in the description below is a link on Amazon
where you can purchase this item. It doesn't cost you any more by purchasing it through our link, but it does mean that we do get a small amount of commission on any sale that is made. This is our rock tumbler setup. Very easy to use. Just unscrew the nut on the top. Remove the outer lid. You then screw the nut back onto the next layer. And this helps you pull off the lid. Inside are my polishing rocks, so we'll remove those. They're not needed until the last stage of the rock tumbling or glass tumbling process. So what we're going to do is put our glass in here. I think we're going to do the glass first. I don't think rock and glass together would be a good idea. So we're going to pop the glass in here, and then you need to go through 4 processes, and that involves adding different grade grit each time. Grit number 1 needs to go in for 3 to 5 days, basically until the stones have lost all their sharp edges and they've started to feel a bit smooth. Moving on to grit number 2. This goes in for 6 to 8 days. And then again, grit number 3 goes in for 6 to 8 days. And then grit number 4, which is the polishing, and the longer time possible that you can keep your rocks or glass in, the better the polish. So we put that in for 7 to 10 days and on a lower speed. And then finally, you finish it off with these foam squares. I think it's called gem foam. And you do the glass or the rocks for another 3 days with this in, and then you end up with those lovely shiny rocks and stones that I showed you earlier. So let's load up our tumbler with our glass and grit number 1. As this is somewhat a bit of an experiment, I've also found some other pieces of glass from other expeditions to various beaches to pop in and see how it comes out on the different types of glass. So some of these pieces I'm putting in are already well tumbled, but I want to see how smooth and rounded and kind of how they polish up. So like I say, it's a total experiment. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong, but you don't know until you try. So we're going to pop in the glass. There we go. So we've got a mixture of amber, green, white, aqua, seafoam. Got a bit of everything in there. Ideally, the rock tumbler is meant to be half to 2/3 full. I don't have enough glass to put in there. They do provide you with some plastic pellets to make up the density in the tub, so I'm just going to add some of those. These are nurdles. Right, so I would say that the rock tumbler is near enough half full there. Next we need to add some water. Need to add enough water so that it covers the top of those beads. Let's pop the water in so that it just covers the top of the contents. There we go. We then need to add 2 tablespoons of the grit per pound of rocks that we're tumbling. It's not quite a pound, but I'm gonna chuck in that much. Next we need to seal the barrel and put it onto the tumbler. The tumbler needs to run for about 4 to 6 days at the faster speed on the machine. We have opted for speed number 3, which is the highest speed, and we're going to go for 5 days.